Hi. Yeah.
Great.
I can't wait for that to be the cold open of this episode. Wait. Sound like a fly swatter.
When you're having a bad day, all you want to do is have a laugh. Well, here's a treat for you. The boys are here, and we can't wait to turn your day from gross to great. We're the Soy Boys. Soy great.
Hi everybody!
Hey guys!
Welcome to the Soy Boys, the podcast. My name is Paul.
My name is Hakelis.
And today we are the Soy Boys. Not every other day, but today we are. This is the Soy Boys podcast. This is the podcast where we're going to cook and talk, but we're not really going to talk about cooking.
Not really,
Not necessarily, not all the time.
It might
We
happen
say that in every
sometimes.
episode, and sometimes we do talk about cooking, and sometimes we say...
Nothing.
If you liked the blender noises in last episode, well, we got a treat for you, episode 9. I don't know. We're doing our first lunch podcast.
That's true.
It's a hearty 12:11 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the morning. Technically the
In the
afternoon, because it's afternoon.
In the after morning.
In the after morning. You have to work tonight.
I do.
never work, ever.
You did for like a week.
A week. Shout out to them. But I do have some music I need to work on today, because I'm about to leave town for a contract. Gotta learn some tight harmonies.
Great.
And I gotta get all my burps out before I do that.
Yeah.
I can't wait. It's near my hometown. That's what's on my mind right now.
Yeah.
But first,
Let's talk about what's on the menu.
Nicholas, what is on your menu today?
I'm going to be making like a little brunch-ish burger.
Have you ever made a burger before? On this show, ever?
Never.
Okay.
No, that's a lie. Episode 7.
7. Did you make one yesterday? No.
I did for lunch yesterday, not on podcast.
Not in the... I was like, I've seen him do it before.
I'm gonna do just like a normal burger, then top it with like a fried egg and put some bacon on it.
That's great.
Yeah.
That kind of sandwich is what helped me appreciate, like, runny eggs. I grew up... Well, for a long time, when I was a kid, I thought I was allergic to eggs, because my dad is allergic to eggs. Like, if he makes muffins or something and cracks eggs, he has to wash his hands immediately or he starts breaking out.
Oh, interesting.
So that gave him, like, he's allergic to eggs. So
Right.
I thought I was allergic to eggs as well, because I had a similar reaction, and it turns out it was just eczema. But I thought I was, so I never had runny eggs, and for the first time, I had a runny egg at Disney World. We were eating breakfast at the Beast's Castle.
Yes.
Do you need a bigger pan for that bacon?
I probably
I think you should
do.
use this one.
I'll use that one.
That's fine. It's dry now.
Yeah. That can be
Wait,
dry.
that might need to be re-washed. There's some residue inside.
Oh no, that's water.
No, on the side, like, closest to you. Right here.
I mean, I'll just not touch it and then we can wash it in a
All right,
second.
that's cool. So, I'm just going to say that the Beast's Castle helped me appreciate runny eggs.
But I feel like the Beast's Castle helps us appreciate a lot of things.
That was the first time I cried that day. I cried 9 different times that day, going to Disney World as an adult. And
Was it your first time?
No, it was my third time, but it was 2018, and I hadn't been since 2006. And I had changed a lot as a person. I'd grown into an adult man. So I cried 9 times that day for 9 different reasons. And the first was eating breakfast. You can eat either in the ballroom or the library or the West Wing. And we chose the West Wing.
Classic.
And I saw the rose. The rose was there, and it was spinning. And I saw the petals fall, and I cried a lot.
Oh man.
Because the Beast makes me emotional. On my menu today,
what's on your menu, Paul?
Is I'm gonna kind of blur the lines a little bit. I'm gonna go above and beyond what is expected of us, and
Right.
I'm gonna make Trader Joe's orange chicken.
See, you've been saying all day that you were going to make Panda Express orange chicken. Which
That's
is
true. It's Trader Joe's because
okay.
making Panda Express orange chicken would imply that wow, your burner is hot.
Just trying to heat up this oil.
I think you can do that on a lower heat.
I think...
But I'm just trying to avoid any sort of burnage situations.
Right, but it's just oil.
I know, buddy. I know.
Great.
Great.
Some
So I'm
Trader
gonna
Joe's.
make Trader Joe's orange chicken a favorite in this household.
It is.
And I'm gonna make some rice on the side, and I have some fresh slices of mango that I'm gonna have with it.
Yum.
Very simple compared to things I've tried to make in the past.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of things I want to talk about today.
That's great.
What's on your mind, Nicholas?
Well, I think we should talk first about what's on your mind, because I think what's on my mind is going to be a lot.
Oh, are you okay?
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
But it's just a lot of
Yeah,
talking
you'll
about.
understand once I talk about what's on my mind.
Oh, I think
What's
I
on
know what
your
you're going to
mind?
talk about. I just went to my favorite coffee shop, and I had free drink because I had gone there enough times and I had it. They stamped my card enough times, so I got a free drink from them, and I was prepared to like make some sort of compromise and get what am I talking about? Like just like a regular black coffee or something. But the dude said, you can get as many like extra shots or syrups or whatever you want. So I'm just gonna eat the rest of this rice.
Great.
I got an extra large vanilla soy latte with an extra shot of espresso.
Great.
And since we're doing a lunch podcast, I'm very grateful for that. So what's on my mind today is loyalty and supporting local businesses because this coffee house is amazing.
Oh, that's
and
great.
It's right down the street.
Yeah.
And while I was on the way back, I hatched an egg in Pokemon Go. So, I mean, come on.
Incredible.
And The Incredibles 2, back
Great
in the
movie.
habit.
Back in the habit. Lost in New York.
Lost in Yonkers. I love Neil Simon. That's what's on my mind. Also, we were literally just talking about them, but the band Greta Van Fleet. Ooh, man, they're some brothers and their friend from Michigan, and I think they are fantastic. They're really good. They're basically like if Led Zeppelin was releasing music today, and that's a lot of the music I listened to in college because my buddy Mike is really into Led Zeppelin, and so am I.
That's
Or
great.
that style.
Yeah, sure.
80s hard rock. So what's on your mind today, Nicholas Van Fleet?
You know what's on my mind today, Paul? Van Fleet?
Yeah, tell me. Lay it on me, because I can't wait.
13 the musical.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, we said we'd talk about it last week and we didn't. So we're going
I-
to talk about it now.
Love 13 the musical.
I also love 13 the musical.
You said that you had a story about 13 the
I
musical.
do.
An anecdote. I also have an anecdote.
I have an anecdote about 13 the musical. So I discovered 13 the musical my senior year of high school.
That's a late time to discover it.
Yeah, and so...
But I get it, because it wasn't, like, marketed as a popular musical because it wasn't.
I mean, okay, let me say by discovered it, I mean, like, I fully listened to it and fully watched the bootleg. Like, I
Sure.
had heard of it before, but I didn't, like...
You knew it, you came to know it intimately.
Yes. That sounds...
I know.
Okay.
13
So,
months.
I was listening to the album, like, very regularly, and that was around the time we could audition for, to, like, sing the special music or whatever at graduation.
In high school.
In high school,
Right.
yes. And so I was like, you know what's a perfect song?
What it means to be a friend.
No.
Lamest place in the world.
Yes.
Really?
No.
I can't wait to get out. What do you can't say no to a boy with a terminal illness.
Yes, exactly. You want me to just tell you?
Yes, please.
Great.
Bad news. I'm done. I promise.
That girl is bad
That
news.
song slaps.
It does.
Most of 13 the musical slaps.
Yes.
But what song? What
The
song?
song was A Little More Homework.
Oh, that's honestly A Little More Homework is one of my favorite songs from any musical ever.
Right,
That's
and
not a lie.
I think it is so fitting because it's like very allegorical
Yes.
for a high school graduation.
And for middle schoolers, and for anybody who's in any area of education ever.
Yes. So I auditioned for it and I didn't get it. And
Now I see why you said it was it was an anecdote, not a story.
Yeah, so I didn't get it, and they said, you can sing the alma mater, and I said, we have an alma mater?
That's the thing.
And I brought the lyrics up with me to
So the
sing
alma
the alma
mater?
mater.
Solo?
No, it was with another girl, who also didn't make it
Another girl.
for the special music.
I'm gonna get a lid for my rice.
Yeah. So that's my 13 the musical anecdote.
I am so glad you shared that with me. I'm glad that you opened up that part of yourself, and now we're a little bit closer.
Yeah. What's your 13 the musical anecdote?
So, I don't know when you came to be like a musical theater fan, but for me, it happened when I was in middle school. It happened a little after some people, a little before some people.
Sure.
And I got really into musical theater really quickly, and I started to know the big musicals. I was a huge fan of Into the Woods, and I had watched the movie of West Side Story a bunch.
Sure.
But your smaller 13 type musicals, I didn't know anything about. And then in 8th grade, it was tradition at our middle school for the 8th grade chorus to take a spring break trip to New York and see a couple of shows. And when this trip was proposed in the fall, we were going to see Little Mermaid, which was new on Broadway at the time, starring Sierra Boggess
Classic.
and Norm Lewis.
Great.
And we were going to see 13 the musical because it was up. And then, a month before we were, maybe it was a month and a half, you were smoking that bacon.
We're getting it.
We're getting it. A month or so before the trip was supposed to happen, 13 closed.
Oh.
And it didn't matter to any of us because nobody knew what 13 the Musical was, and we ended up seeing the revival of Guys and Dolls, starring Titus Burgess and Lauren Graham and Oliver Platt and Craig Bierko. It was a star-studded cast.
Yeah.
And we saw that show, and it was great, and I didn't really think much about 13 the Musical. That following summer, I was thinking, I remember our chorus teacher saying something about a musical with a bunch of teenagers, and it was about middle school, kind of. I didn't set a timer for my chicken. That'll be fine. I'm going to look it up, and I looked up and I found that bootleg that you're talking about, probably the same one.
Probably.
Like, from the right side of the balcony.
And, like, the first minute is
just
Yes.
darkness.
Yeah,
Like most bootlegs. I don't support the taking of bootlegs. I'm never going to do it, but if I ever see one, I've watched a bunch of bootlegs in my day.
I've watched a good amount.
Especially in this 8th grade to senior year of high school time period. So I watched the bootleg and I listened to all the music and I was weeping. Sitting in the computer room. Remember the computer room?
Yes.
Before laptops?
Uh-huh.
Thinking that I had missed my chance not only to see 13 on Broadway, but to be in 13 on Broadway. And I had just graduated 8th grade.
Good.
And I was 14 at the time, and I knew, because I'd watched every piece of 13 the Musical content that existed on YouTube at that time, that everybody in the cast was between the ages of 13 and 16. And I just loved it. And that song, A Little More Homework, cut deep to my core. And I started listening to some stuff from that show a few months ago because I had dropped it for a long time. And that song made me cry. Because being a kid, so much is expected of you. Mm-hmm. Especially if you think about what's happened to Evan in that show. That happens to a lot of kids. Like, I'm lucky enough to say that I'm not a child of divorce, but imagine your parents. No, you pour the oil.
I poured the oil out.
You're good. I forgot the order of events.
I'm not an amateur.
I know, buddy. You've made bacon a couple of times. I think bacon was the first thing I ever saw you make.
Yes,
in that kitchen in Missouri.
Set off the smoke alarm.
It did. Oh, and I made eggs in a basket that day.
Yeah.
That was great. I had avocado. It was amazing. So, the situation Evan is in that show, a lot of kids find themselves in. They find themselves uprooted because the parent has to move for one reason or another. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, he had all of these social problems and all of these academic problems that a lot of kids find themselves in. So, the finale of that show, I say the finale, not the Bow's song, Brand New You, which is a bop. A lot of kids find themselves in that position, and it's just a really emotional song. If you've never heard A Little More Homework from 13 the Musical, you don't really need to know the context of the plot to understand it, just if you've been in middle school. I recommend you listen to it. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
It's very emotional.
Yes.
I'm glad we talked about 13 the Musical. It's a sleeper pick for, like, top 15 of my favorite musicals of all time. It doesn't quite crack the top 10. But it's up there.
It's super cute. It's super fun.
I highly recommend it.
Jason,
it's unlike any other Jason Robert Brown show, except maybe Honeymoon in Vegas. But I've never listened to Honeymoon in Vegas. I just know it's a lot like poppier.
Yeah. And
13 is very much like modern musical theater.
Yes.
Lowercase MMT.
Yes.
I need to warm up my sauce.
How do I want to do this? Okay.
What do you need to do?
I don't want to cook my burger and then cook my egg. I want to do a little multitasking.
I think that might be the way to go.
And so I'm trying to decide which pan I want to do what in.
Cook it. So are you doing a sunny side up?
Just like a fried egg, yeah.
Yeah. Well, then use the small one for the egg and use this for the burger.
Cute.
Because your burger's going to need to cook a little more thoroughly, and that's been on the burner. Mm-hmm. So, the burger.
The burner.
That's what's on our minds today. Greta Van Fleet and 13 the Musical. A lot of angst in that sense. But they're both great, and you should check them out. I'm going to start the rounds of questions, asking what's on their mind, with a question that we talked about briefly in our last episode. In the lightning round of questions that I asked you, I want to explore this a little bit more.
Okay.
From our dear friend J.M., not J.M. as in J.M. Barry, but J.A.Y. space M. Mm-hmm. I think he's asked a question before. He's been on the show a bunch.
You bought more butter, right?
Yeah, it's down there.
Oh, it's down there.
It's in the box that says butter.
I just didn't want to, use... That's... Okay.
We're doing great.
We're doing great.
J.M. Barry. He asked, what is a better movie, Holes or National Treasure, and why? And the reason he asks this, he's one of my best friends in the world. We lived together for 3 years in college. He knows a lot about me, and he knows that my favorite movie of all time is National Treasure, and that Holes may be in second place. Holes, of course, starring Shia LaBeouf and Cleo Thomas and Jon Voight
And
Sigourney Weaver. It's a star-studded movie.
What's her name? Eartha Kitt?
Eartha Kitt and Patricia Arquette and Tim Blake Nelson and Henry Winkler. It is a star-studded movie. And your answer to this question yesterday was National Treasure, right?
Yes.
I disagree with you. I will say National Treasure. This is a big deal to anybody who knows me. National Treasure is my favorite movie of all time. For a long time, it was contested. I said that Ferris Bueller's Day Off was my favorite movie because I had just been saying that for years. But I can comfortably say now that National Treasure is my favorite movie of all time. I think Holes is a better movie.
Okay.
And I would like to hear your case on why you think National Treasure is a better film.
Sure. I think you're going to be very disappointed in my case.
Okay.
Because I have not seen either of those movies for probably like 8 or 9 years.
I watch them every year.
Yeah.
So we're coming from
very different places.
I'm going to use your tiny scissors because they get dirty all the time and I need to open my sauce. I don't like them.
You're coming to like them more, though.
I hate their very existence.
But you appreciate them.
But I am using them. I appreciate them. I don't like them.
Okay. I'll take it. So,
National Treasure.
Yes. I think I've seen National Treasure more recently. Frankly, the thing is, when I saw Holes as a kid, I didn't like it.
Sure.
And
it's a lot to take in.
Pretty much my reason is I don't...
Weak sauce.
I know, that's what I told you. You're not going to like my reasoning.
Because there is no reasoning.
There is no reasoning.
Oh, wow, okay. We're doing it.
There's...
For real.
Literally none.
Okay.
I don't remember the movie.
You remember the plot, like the basic.
Yeah, I remember the plot, and I remember the songs. You got to go dig those holes.
Dig it up, oh, dig it. Dig it up, oh. Amazing.
I remember that. I'm trying to think of why I didn't like it, and I think it's because, like, I just hardcore empathized with those characters.
Yeah.
And I was like, I never want that to happen to me.
You never want someone to say, he stole shoes, and you're like, but I...
And, like, having to be outside just digging holes.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's awful, and, like, it made me sad, so I don't like it.
So you don't like it because of the way it made you feel as a kid?
I think
Or you didn't like it then?
Yeah.
I understand. I respect that.
You got to go dig those holes.
Yeah. Listen to that. Yes! Sizzle. That's going to be a shirt one day. Listen to that sizzle. Sizzle in all caps. Mm-hmm. And then, like smell lines coming up.
The L's can be like smell lines.
I love that.
Graphic design?
You're so smart.
Major.
I think Holes is a better movie, and I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
I have watched a lot of movies. That's not true. One of my big things as a person is that I usually haven't watched the movies that I need to have seen. Mm-hmm. But I've watched Holes a bunch.
Yeah.
And the movies that I liked as a kid, I watched over and over. Like, my sister and I would be home alone during the summer, eating mac and cheese and applesauce while our parents were at work, and watching Holes and National Treasure and all of these movies that we had seen a bunch of times. Mm-hmm. Because at that time, we weren't interested in watching new movies.
Sure.
You know when you're a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, another choice. Mm-hmm. If you haven't seen that, an offshoot of the Toy Story franchise, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command is one of my favorite movies from a kid. Yeah. It was a movie before it was a TV show.
Oh.
Just like a one-off with, like, Zurg, and he meets those other characters, and it's amazing. Holes is the only when I've consumed both the book and the movie, Holes is the only instance of the book and the movie being equally as good. The book is amazing. Obviously, it won the Newbery Award, and the movie is very different. They took a lot of liberties. Stanley was not a plus-size kid. He was Shia LaBeouf.
He was a Shia LaBeouf-sized kid.
Explained as they didn't want... Because he's supposed to go through this huge... Have you read the book?
No.
So in the book, Stanley is this big kid, once again, I identified with, and he's supposed to go through this big weight loss change throughout the course of the story because he's outside digging holes in the hot sun every day and sweating all of his weight away. And in the extras of the DVD, they said that they didn't want to put that task on a child actor, and I understand.
Yeah, I think that's responsible of them.
I think it is, and it's just one of the many changes that they made for this film, which I I understand. They took a lot of other changes. There's a lot of information in the book. I think the book is a lot darker, but the cast they assembled, both the adult cast and the kid cast for this movie, just brought an energy that I wouldn't expect. Like, if I had read Holes as a kid and I was watching a film adaptation now, I don't think that I would be excited about it. I would think this is not going to be good.
Right.
Are you looking for a lid?
Yep.
Lid.
I think it's the big one.
Lid. I'm going to check on this rice. National Treasure, on the other hand,
Great.
while my favorite movie of all time, has some glaring plot holes.
Right.
Namely, the fact that none of this would be possible in real life, which I understand and I respect. And there are some acting choices made in the film. There are some great ones. There are some questionable ones. Look at that egg. That looks beautiful. You're going to be done really soon.
I am.
I think that's normally the case. I'm just using the oven. My rice is done. That's a beautiful egg. I just think that Holes in constructing a movie is a better movie. I think the character work put in by the cast is a lot more thorough and in-depth than the kind of stock characters that you see in National Treasure. I think the women in Holes are portrayed as a lot stronger. Abigail in National Treasure is just kind of a pawn in the whole thing who just has access to everything.
Yeah.
Jon Voight is in both movies, which I am now realizing, and his performance in Holes is better. While I love Patrick Henry Gates as a character, I think Holes is a better movie. Patrick Henry Gates, Benjamin Franklin Gates, Thomas Jefferson Gates. Because the whole thing is about colonialism. Look at that egg. Oh, be careful with that yolk.
Oh, I know.
You're really doing it. But it's okay.
It's the damn pans.
You want to take it off the heat?
No, I'm going to flip it.
Oh, you're going to flip it. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's my answer. Holes is a better movie. All around. I think so.
respect
And
that.
I think that you should give it another try.
I think I should too.
Let's watch it before I leave.
Great.
It's my second favorite movie of all time.
I love that.
I'm sure you're aware of this, but a few years ago when Shia LaBeouf did that project where he watched all of his...
Performance art piece.
Performance art piece, that's the correct term. Where he watched all of his movies in a movie theater and live streamed his reactions. He was happiest during Holes.
That's so great. Did he cry during Holes?
Yeah.
That's the one he cried during.
I think he cried during a couple of them.
Transformers too?
Transformers as well.
No, Transformers.
I know.
Second. Okay.
I've only ever seen two Shia LaBeouf movies, and it's Holes and the Even Stevens movie. And I think he cried during both of those, because that might have been when he was his happiest as a person. I hope he's doing okay. We should call him.
We should... Shia?
Shia? You gonna melt some cheese on top of that bad boy?
Oh, yes.
Shall we move on to the next question? Unless you have anything else you want to say about Holes and National Treasure.
See, the problem is I just don't have much to say, because it's been so long for both of them.
So I kind of monopolized that conversation. I get it.
But that's okay. It's something you're passionate about.
I'm really passionate about it. Once again, this goes to a point of mine that I've felt very passionate about for a while. Just because something is your favorite does not mean it has to be objectively the best.
Sure.
My favorite musical of all time is Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812. And I understand why it lost Best Musical to Dear Evan Hansen. Mm-hmm. You know? It just be like that sometimes.
It just be like that.
It truly do. Let's ask another question.
Great.
This is something I'm very interested in. This comes from Emily. I don't know who that is.
She's my sister. You might remember her from such questions as, who hurt you?
Who hurt you? And I said, me. Who is the meanest New Yorker you've met?
Okay, I want to preface this by saying...
Yes.
I don't think New Yorkers are inherently mean.
I'm glad you used the word inherently. I was thinking it too.
I think there's a misconception. We are, by we, me who's been here for 4 months, I'm not going to say we. New Yorkers just, it's a very crowded city. We don't, again, they don't get time, they don't get space to themselves, so they like to just like kind of internalize. And so I don't think New Yorkers are inherently mean.
No.
They're just inherently like
busy
and quiet. When I came to the city for the first time, one of my friends who lives up here, that was really stupid.
You just touched that bun.
I did.
Nick's toasting his buns, everyone. If you're making burgers, toast your buns.
It's not super toasted.
But it's crisp.
It's like warm.
Nothing like a warm bun. Hey, Andrew. I want a warm bun.
The first time I came to the city, one of my friends said, New Yorkers love to help people with like directions and stuff.
That's true.
If you are lost, Literally just walk up to anyone and ask for directions, and they will help you. The thing New Yorkers hate is when you just stop walking.
Yeah.
For no reason. Like, don't
in the middle of the sidewalk.
Don't get in people's way.
If you have to pull over to the side, I've done that a bunch.
Yeah, exactly.
Check Google Maps. Where am I going?
Exactly. That's my preface. What?
Sure.
Do you want to say your thoughts, or should I say my thoughts first?
I'll say my thoughts, because we're both from places that are very much not like New York. Mm-hmm. I think there is kind of a stigma that Northerners face, because living here is so different from living in a southern suburb.
Right.
Just the pace of everything is a lot different. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got to do the same jobs, basically. But, I mean, in Knoxville, Tennessee, you're not walking to work unless you live and work downtown.
Right.
Most of the time, you're driving to work. You can go on your own pace. You have a lot more space. There's a lot more space for everything. I mean, as we sit in this tiny kitchen, that's like a third of the size of my parents' kitchen in Knoxville, just because of the space of the land.
Right.
I was out to lunch like a few weeks ago with my friend Dylan. We've talked about Dylan. Mm-hmm. Dylan is from New Jersey, born and raised, went to college in New Jersey, currently lives in New Jersey. Has spent a lot of time in New York City. I'm going to check on my chicken because I don't know how close we are to being done. We were out to eat, and our server was so nice. She was just talking and laughing and riffing with us. That needs a few more minutes. And she told us that she was from Alabama, and I said, I'm from Tennessee. We kind of talked about that. And I remarked to Dylan, after leaving the restaurant, you could tell she was from the South because of how nice she was to us. Mm-hmm. And Dylan laughed, understandably, and reminded me that just as there is a stigma from Southern people about Northern people, the stigma exists both ways. I have so many friends from the North. Oh, this burger looks like it's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you, truly and honestly. There exists a stigma both ways because I have so many Northern friends who hate being in the South and hearing people call them darlin' and sweetheart and honey. Mm-hmm. That's something that I'm used to. I don't know what it's like in Kansas. I don't know if those words exist.
They do. They're not as prevalent, but it is. There's a little bit of that. It's just the fake Midwestern kindness. That's
the thing. It exists in Tennessee too, and I think sometimes it genuinely isn't fake. But also, I think sometimes it's just what people are used to saying to other people. And if you're from a city like New York that's full of hustle and bustle and people moving, and you could like walk by 1,000 people in one day and not talk to a single of them because you all have your own agenda about your own day. Hearing someone say, "Hi, darling, what can I get you? I'll get that started for you, sweetie." I can understand where they're coming from. I don't feel that way because I'm used to it. But to answer Emily's question, I truly have not met anyone mean in New York. I've been here for almost 2 months, and everyone's either neutral, like they don't care about what I'm doing, or they're just kind of middle of the road, or they've been super nice. Like the people at this coffee shop, I don't know how many of them are from New York, but they're all just so nice.
Mm-hmm. I think my answer to that question is revolving around just the service industry, like we talked about last week.
I haven't experienced that. You're so right.
But I don't think that's just a New York thing. I think that's just people with like a power complex.
Yeah.
Who enjoy being served and they enjoy treating people who they think are below them.
Yeah.
Poorly. And like.
I was on the whole time.
Good. So yeah, I don't think I've.
Whoa! Did you hear that?
Had popped my hip.
I hope that came across through the microphone.
I'm
gonna take this chicken out of the oven. I think it's done.
Great.
When did I? Yeah, because I started my. Yeah, no, we're good.
Yeah, I.
Service industry.
Yeah, I don't think I've met like an outrageously mean New Yorker. Like there have been some box office people at some shows who have been kind of mean.
But just like clipped and just kind of short and cold.
Right.
But that doesn't mean mean.
Right.
Can I move
and
this?
yeah.
Thank you.
And like, it was probably, or not probably, it very well could have been like a one-off, like, caught him on a bad day. Like,
caught him on a bad day. Caught him on a bad, I love 13 the musical. Brett's gonna do the Tom with Kendra Friday night at the movie at the mall, and the brain's gonna get us in. I have a plan! I remembered more of that than I thought.
No one says no to a boy with a terminal illness.
That can't be the title of the episode. I was just about to say, that's the title of the episode. No, it's not. Box office people, caught him on a bad day.
Yeah, I think the meanest person I've met is probably also the meanest person you've met, just like...
In terms of being, once again, neutral and not unhelpful. but kind of cold more than mean.
Yeah. Or, like, thinks they're better than me because they walk into my restaurant.
Right. No, that exists other places.
Exactly.
I mean, I was a server at a country club in Tennessee
I bet
a few
that
years
was
ago.
even worse.
It was, and the thing was, I wasn't using like cards to check people out, credit cards or cash or anything, because they had money in their member accounts.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just present them with a receipt, and it was just like they once again felt entitled. Not reflecting badly on this club, of course, but like these people just, we know what I'm getting at.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't want to speak ill about them.
No.
It's okay. We're just finishing up here. It was a very easy episode food-wise for me. I'm just tossing my Trader Joe's chicken in the Trader Joe's orange chicken sauce.
How do you feel about that sauce, Paul?
It's so good. I remember in the first episode that you said, or was it the second episode?
It was
the second episode. You wished it had a little more heat, and for me, there's a perfect amount of heat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick. So,
Cool.
yeah.
I think I'm used to just like...
Spicier things.
Yeah, no.
You're a tough boy.
Panda Express is... I am a tough boy. Panda Express is orange chicken where there is like...
A little, yeah.
Like a... You
Just
can
a touch.
tell there's heat where like... I haven't noticed heat in this. I think I'd need to search for heat.
Search for heat. Actually, I'm going to eat these separately. I'm going to put this clean plate up. I don't want to use too many more dishes. I'm going to get another spoon bowl out for my rice. And then we should do some final thoughts. A post-mortem, if you will.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, I forgot how good that orange chicken smells.
I don't smell it. What does it smell like?
It smells like
Like sesame oil and orange?
yeah, and like a little vinegary.
Yes.
Like
very acidic.
Yeah. Smells great. Look at that heaping pile.
Guys, what I tell you, pillows. That's the good thing about rice. If you cook it correctly, it tastes the way it's supposed to.
Just waiting for you to get your rice.
I've got a lot of rice to work with here, Nick, so if you could just be patient with me, please, and thank you, I would really appreciate it. Hey. I don't think I'm going to eat this with my coffee. I'm going to get some water, because I'm dehydrated.
Yum.
No. So, at the end of our shows, folks, we like to do a little thing called a post-mortem, where we discuss the things we learned in making our respective dishes. Today, Nicholas, positive or negative, what'd you learn from making your brunch burger this cloudy Thursday, Friday, midday?
I think...
I'm just going to let you have it.
Great, I'll take it. I think a little bit of,
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I got you. That was really nice.
Thanks so much.
Did you plan that?
Yeah, I did. I've been waiting all day to say that.
Great.
I think a little bit of like multitasking stuff. I haven't done a whole lot of that on this show, and I didn't do a lot of it today. I just like put a burger on one pan and an egg on another, and then
I don't know how you're alive.
flipped each of them once, but like it went well.
I'm
also,
so glad.
I haven't made this kind of burger before.
It looks really good. It looks like, once again, something you'd find in a mom and pop shop.
Mm-hmm. What did you learn today, Paul?
I learned that sometimes it's okay to scale it back.
Yeah.
Let's take it
You've
easy.
been going real hard.
I've been going hard. When I cook, I feel a kind of a pressure to do that, I think, inherently. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's okay to make some frozen chicken that's great quality and just steam some rice and eyeball it. I didn't set a single timer today. And I measured my rice. I used all of my rice, and I have a little chicken left. I just learned to take it easy every once in a while.
Yeah.
I was doing a lot of talking today, too.
Yeah.
A lot of talking about Holes and 13 the Musical and our server
Yes.
in Midtown, who really was very nice. And she had a cool name. I don't remember what it was.
Rebecca, if you're out there.
It was definitely not Rebecca, but we're going to call her Rebecca.
Great.
First rule of improv is say no to everything.
Yes. And then die immediately.
Here's a gun. You can't leave.
Okay. Bang.
Greta Van Fleet. Well, folks, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Soy Boys, the podcast. Our season's winding down. I hope you're enjoying it.
I hope so too. Tell your friends about it if you are.
If you're enjoying it and you want more content, please tweet at us with a hashtag Soy Boys Season 2. Please.
Yeah, please.
Soy Boys Season 2, please.
Uh-huh.
And we'll think about it.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to happen, but we want to make sure that you're on board, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want to make sure we have a fan base.
Yes, all,
Like, I don't know. Coach Steve. We're not sponsored by Big Mouth, but Netflix. If you
Nick
were
Kroll.
Nick Kroll guest on the show, and every one of his characters could cook a different dish. And on that day, Nick Kroll died.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the podcast, folks. I hope you have the best day, no matter what time of day you're listening to. If you haven't seen Holes in a while, watch it. It holds up. It holds up.
Holds up.
We need to end this.
Yes.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Cook brave.
We're the Soy Boys. Soy great.